welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie. Today I'm closing out my November finances. So I had kind of taken a break from filming these videos. I still do the routine and all that every month. It just wasn't really working with the schedule. But since I'm posting every day for Vlogmas, I'm excited to be able to share where I'm at with some of my goals and all of the things. So let's go ahead and dive in. I have a few different sheets here that we're going to go through. So first of all is my November budget itself here. So I filled in the budgeted numbers in a previous video. I share that on my channel monthly, and I've gone through, reconciled everything. I do track every purchase in a spreadsheet, and I categorize it. So that's how I can get all of these, tallies and stuff. So my actual income this month was $7,046.57. So before I go through any of these other numbers, I do want to share kind of where that came from, because that is, different. There's a difference between those. So first is the salary. So I recognize my salary kind of like a month later. So the two checks I got in October sat in my account until the 1st of November, and that's when I used it. We've been having some payroll things. We did open enrollment and things weren't picking up. It's so hard to explain, but we think we're finally getting everything closed up for December and January. Thank God. Capital One interest. So this is from my high yield savings accounts, $37.86. Upside, this is the cashback website I use for gas purchases, and I cash out after I hit about 10 bucks. So this was $11.36. So love to see that. And then I received $355 from Venmo. So my team has two women that are pregnant at the same time. And so I was in charge of doing the baby shower gifts for each of them. So this is what my team transferred for me to use. And then I had my own money in my gift sinking fund to then give those gifts. So that was really nice. My Discover credit card earns cash back, so $75.39, which is great. I also had a work reimbursement. I kind of had the homework assignment to read a particular book with my manager, so that was expensed. And then we have the cash back from my Capital One account, so I waited for it to be about $100 and cashed that out. And then my fiance and I split quite a few costs. I'm primarily the main spender, and at the end of the month he writes me a check. So kind of a bigger month, but we did buy him some clothes throughout the month. We also purchased some Christmas gifts for family members, so he's kind of contributing that part. Also some donations, so a lot of things going on there. So that's how I got to that, 7,000 number. But let's go through the budget. I'm just going to quickly, high level point out some of the bigger things. So for the expense section here, my phone was a little bit higher. The change here always throws me off, so kind of expected it. Subscriptions was a little bit higher. I ended up purchasing an annual subscription to Peacock from their Black Friday sale. I think it was $22 or so. For the entire year, which is excellent. So I did that. So that's a little bit higher, but now we have Peacock for the year. And then groceries is higher, $8.94, almost $900. Kind of backstory there. First of all, Thanksgiving. So we just, we hosted my dad. So there's three of us, but we did pick up some, we don't really like turkey, but my fiance picked up some really nice cuts of steak. So that played into that. We also, for health reasons, are transitioning to a low sodium diet. So with that, it's kind of been a month-long effort. I basically cleaned out our pantry, our fridge, our freezer, all of that with everything that was pretty much processed and high sodium. And I ended up donating all that food to the local food shelf. And there's a little free pantry, and I kind of dispersed it. But I then have since had to fill our pantry back up with lower sodium options, no sodium options, things like that. So this is higher than we expected, but our health concerns and all of that should be alleviated when we do adopt a lower sodium diet. So we are just willing to spend more. It also means that we will be spending less eating out. in the long term, because when you eat out, you don't really know what's in it and the foods and how it's being seasoned. You can ask for modifications, but it's just generally best to eat at home. So that's kind of a long-term thing that I think we'll see kind of even out. But this month was a higher grocery bill. Gas was a little bit under. I budgeted 80. I spent 71.96. And then spending was higher, so 497 of this was from clothes from my fiance, but I still went over budget too. So I got caught in a couple of Black Friday things, so whatever, you live and learn. So in total for the expense section, 52% of my total income went to that section, which included all the bills and stuff and that miscellaneous spending. For the sinking funds, everything here is pretty normal. Beauty is higher than normal. I did partake in this for a VIB sale and purchase some kind of things that I've been wanting to get. My fiance also got a cologne when I did that, so that's what this $139.50 is. I think I said this earlier, but for gifts, we did purchase Christmas gifts for pretty much everybody. I think we're done. And well, I might have one more. I can't remember, but pretty much done. And then for giving, I used the Capital One cashback, the $105 towards giving. My fiance contributed $200 and I put some other money there too, but we bought a bunch of coats that we'll be donating later this month. I'm waiting for a couple more to come in. We did this last year and it felt so good to bring children's and women's coats of various sizes to our local women's shelter. And we live in Minnesota where it's really cold. So having a proper coat and like with a hood, and that's something that you can layer under, is so important. So we did that again, and that's where some of that came from. And then wedding, I was able to put more than I budgeted towards that, which is excellent. So sinking funds and savings was 45%. And then cash flow, I had the savings challenges, of course, and I had a hair appointment. I just got a trim. I didn't do any coloring or anything like that, but I budgeted 35. It ended up being 32.48 after tips. So that was great. We love to see that. And yeah, that ended up being 2.16% of my total income in this cash flow section. So overall, I'm happy with how November went. It was definitely a spendy month, but I feel like I got it out of my system in December. Like, I don't need to be buying any more gifts. That's pretty much done. Oh, I will say I have been taking advantage of Target's price match policy. So they do an extended period from the end of October through, I believe it's December 24th, where if anything goes on sale or the price is reduced from when you bought it, you can get a price match. And so far, I've gotten about $50 back in price match. So every week I go on the app and I check through all my old purchases and see if anything has dropped. So that is a tip. Keep an eye out for that because it's super easy. You just chat them and they're like, oh yeah, here's a refund. So we love that. Okay. So on the back here, we already talked about the income section. Let's jump down to sinking funds. So these are my different sinking funds that I share with you and kind of all of that. So for annual, I had two purchases, my planner. So I did purchase my 2024 planner from Golden Coil, and then I also renewed my AAA membership. Both of those were planned. It's part of the annual thing. Vacation, I had $100 budgeted for Thanksgiving for the meal. We picked up sides from a local restaurant instead of cooking them ourselves, which is totally the way to go. So that was great to just have an extra $100 there. Beauty, I did, again, participate in the VIB sale. I did a haul on my channel if you want to check it out. And then I also made a couple of purchases from Ulta, but I should be pretty well stocked. And my goal is to get through the rest of December without any more beauty purchases. So let's hope I can do that. Gifts is down because I did spend money on Christmas gifts, but I'm happy to kind of get those in early. Car is down a little bit. I had a car wash. Oh, and I also bought a new snow scraper thing, like to brush the snow and all that off your car. And then for giving, we had the coats, and home, we did some supplement restock. Oh, this should be under health. My bad. There we go. So we did get some supplements restock, like our multivitamins and things like that. So for goals for November, I wanted to put $400 towards future, aka my wedding fund, and I was able to do that. I also wanted to have spare cash at the end of the month, which I do. So I have $26 here that I'll be able to put towards my savings challenge when I'm excited because we'll do savings challenges and I'll be able to unstuff them later this month. So stay tuned for that. I also wanted to wrap up the small purchases for our wedding. So this included like some decor, gifts for our parents, little things like that. And I was able to get all of that done. So I have a box of stuff in my living room area now of like things for the wedding, but it's done, which is great. Wanted to buy my planner, which I did, and do my Christmas shopping, which I did. So 5 out of 5 for me with the goals. December goals, I'd like to put 150 towards future. We're going on vacation, so that's where a lot of my money is going in December, but I'd like to put 150 there. Finish the donation, so actually bringing those coats, to be donated. I also want to stay within our vacation budget, so I'll be sharing about this later in the month. I'll be vlogging it and stuff, but I have a budget of $17.62. That's what's remaining. We've already booked a few things and paid in full, but that's what I have remaining for a vacation. So that's what I'd like to stay under. Of course, I'd like to have spare cash at the end of the month and then also use my savings challenges. So I have a New Year's Eve savings challenge, and I also have some self-care money that I plan to use for a pedicure and a facial this month. So I'm excited to use that money and just kind of enjoy it. And I apologize for the weird lighting. It just got like real dark real fast, like some big clouds coming through. So bear with me, we're almost done. The next thing I have is to update some trackers. So this is the tracker I've been using. At the beginning of the year, I had the goal to save $3,000 towards a future expense. That money is all going towards my wedding. So in November, I was able to put $433.74 towards the wedding, which now my balance is over $3,000. So we get to finish this tracker, which I'm so excited about. So let me color this in and then I will talk about what we're doing next. Okay, so this is now totally done. I'm so excited about that. I love a finished tracker. But I have more to save for our wedding and our honeymoon. So this is the next one. So we have the goal of $4,500. Again, this is for wedding and honeymoon. And I was able to start this next heart. This is about $14, $15. So starting that off and excited to see this thing fill up. I have been making kind of some mock drafts of my budget for the new year. We're getting married in summer, so it's kind of like that first half of the year or so, and I'll be able to do some pretty big things each month, which I'm excited for. Goodness, I'm stumbling over my words. Okay, so next we have my retirement savings goal. So I have the goal to save 15% of my gross salary. In November, I was able to put $265.72. Gosh, I kind of smeared that. Into retirement. So this includes my 401k and my HSA because we cash flow our medical expenses. So I have officially surpassed that 15%. And I'm excited to see where this will end for December and then make some new goals for next year. So that is the progress there. The star was what I was reaching for, the 12,791. So I'm at 14,244, which is so cool. I love seeing that. Okay, and then the last tracker I have here is for my mortgage. So I do make essentially one extra payment a year, and I have this tracker so I can see it snowball. So this month, my balance ended at $137,195.27. So what I do is I highlight when I surpass the balance. So the printed number is where I should have been if I wasn't making any sort of extra principal payments. However, I am, so that's why my number of where I actually am for November 23 doesn't match where my highlighter is. So my ending balance was $137,195. So I can highlight this one. But $137,195 is still above $136,987. So I can't highlight that one, but I'm really happy with the progress I've made and can't wait to close out the year and see how far I've been able to get. But basically, I already have all of 2024. That whole year is kind of like prepaid. I mean, it doesn't work that way where you can just skip a year, but I'm that much ahead plus a few months here too. So I'm excited to count those up later. And that's gonna wrap up today's recap video. I gotta get all these papers back into my binder, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'm really excited to do a year-end budget kind of closeout thing. I'll probably do that at the beginning of January just so I can close out December, but I'm really excited to see how much I was able to save. I'm really excited to see how much like I spent in each category. Next year, my fiance and I, like I keep talking about, are getting married. So it's really important for me to have an idea of like, what are we spending together and what is our joint budget going to look like and all of that good stuff. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm obviously kind of struggling with words at this point in the day. So thank you so much for hanging in there with me. I hope you are doing well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.